Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in. I'm Rebecca, and today we're going to be doing some non-traditional abdominal exercises. Some of them will be familiar from our classwork if you've tuned into some of our other videos, and some might be a little bit new to you. So you will need a little mini ball. I mean, you could do without it, but it is going to give you much more value for your time in this video if you have one. So we're going to come right down onto our backs. And you're going to take your little mini ball and put it underneath the palm. Feeling it nice and centered behind the pelvis, above the tailbone and below the low back. And we're going to just do a little imprint and release to warm up the spine and connect with that deep core. So the arms are at your sides, the head and neck are relaxed. You take a nice breath in. And as you breathe out, you're drawing the tummy back towards the spine. And that low back is gently settling down towards the mat, gently flattening a little bit. The ball will ever so slightly roll towards your heels. And as you breathe in and go back to neutral, you'll feel that ball pull in underneath the pelvis. So exhale, gentle imprint, gently flat with the spine. Breath in, back to neutral, where you have that little inward curve of the low back. So this is really subtle. There shouldn't be any change in pressure through the feet or any movement in the rest of the body. It's really isolated to just this section where the low spine is meeting the pelvis. Gorgeous. And we're going to do two more. Great. And then settle into your neutral spine and take the arms, bend them at the elbows, and on your out breath, stabilize first. So draw in with the low belly, feel the pelvic floor, that light contraction, and bring the left leg up to tabletop and lower it down. And make sure that there's no wobble on that ball as you switch from right to left. As you move from upward motion to lowering, because that's another transition time that we tend to wobble or feel those little micro movements. Good. Last one at this pace with just the right. Beautiful. And then bring the left up, hold it there. And on your exhale, bring the right one to meet it. Good. From here, we're going to go into single toe tap. So left leg lowers, right leg stays where it is. And bring the left up and switch. And make sure you're solid on that ball as you do it. If you're feeling good, you can speed this up and you can change in motion. So you can lower the right leg as the left leg's coming up and switch. And switch. But you don't have to do that. If you're still feeling like you're needing to connect with the core, you can go for the more methodical version. You also don't have to tap the toe to the mat. The point is not how low you can get the leg, it's can you control and be good in your form throughout the movement. Not allow that spine to shift at all. Good. Perfect. For one more on each side. Lovely. And just let the legs relax. You're going to keep the tailbone down on the ball here. And by that, I just mean when we straighten the legs, you don't want to allow the ball to move or shift or the low back to round. If you're tight in the hamstrings, it's going to be hard work just to get the legs vertical and keep that neutral spine and that tailbone down on the ball. So we'll do a little release and bounce with the feet, just to be loose there, but the thighs are vertical, and on your exhale, straighten the legs, keep the tailbone on the ball, lower it down. Little bounce, and so if someone saw you from the crests of the pelvis upward, they wouldn't see any movement. That spine isn't changing position. The abs are drawn in as the legs extend. Okay? And on the next one, we'll leave the legs straight. Beautiful. Here's scissors. So single leg is going to lower. So let's leave the right leg where it is and lower the left leg. And be steady on the ball when you do that. Yeah. And bring it back up. And switch. And up. And switch. And that should be really good work in your lower abdominals. Once again, you can do this methodical switch where you bring one leg up before you start the other, or if you're feeling like you own it today, you can switch in motion. But you need that control in the deep belly as you do. There's no wobble on the ball, no change in that alignment of the spine. That feel good in the legs, good in the abdominals. Perfect. We'll do 2 more. 2, 2, 1, 1. Bring that right leg up and bend the knees. And just relax there for a second. You can put the hands at the sides if you want a little more support. Or keep them bent, just a little challenge. Take a nice breath in. Straighten both legs. Good. On your exhale, you're going to lower both legs, what you can control. So keep that low belly drawn in and almost feel like you have to press the legs down, like you're working against some sort of resistance. Pause at your limit and then bend only the knees. So the thighs stay nice and still. Bend the knees. Straighten them. Scoop in with the deep belly. Pull back up. Exhale. Tap the toes, or maybe not tap them, but bend the knees. Straighten, and then pull back up to vertical. Keep the tailbone down on the ball. Exhale here. Bend the knees. Straighten the knees. Back to vertical. Exhale, lower the legs, what you can control. Maybe it's improving. You can get a little deeper. You'll see. Maybe not. Maybe you're getting fatigued and you have to shorten it. Tap. Straighten. Pull back up. Let's do 3 more. Tap. Straighten. Pull back up. Lower. Only what you can control. Make sure that spine hasn't moved and that low belly has remained drawn in. If the belly lifts towards the ceiling, lower, tap, then you've exceeded what you can do. You're going to hold this one down at your limit. So, good. And then you're just going to do bend the knees and straighten. Bend the knees and straighten. Bend the knees and straighten. You're feeling that for 4. It's harder than it looks, eh? 3, 2, and last one. Beautiful. And scoop in with the deep abs. And release. And just give yourself a little hug in there. Good work on the ball. Lower the legs one at a time. Ball off to the side for this one. Still working the lower abdominals with this. It's our reverse curl. Neutral in your low back pelvis. First out breath. The belly, the spine, and allow the imprint. And then you're just going to do that part for a second. Breathe in back to your neutral where you hold space. Exhaling to imprint. Breathe in back to neutral. And here, the thighs aren't moving closer to you at all, right? You imprint the spine. You don't pull the thighs in towards you. Good. And we'll do one more like that. Just warming up a critical part of it. Okay? Perfect. And then we're doing a whole variation here. So I'd like you to flex the feet. And I'd like you to keep the heels pressed together, but open the knees. So you're in this little tiny diamond position. And that's how you're going to do your roll over. So you have a nice breath in to prepare. You've got your spine. Exhale. Gently imprint. And then you're scooping in deeper with the low belly and you're trying to lift the back of the pelvis in this froggy position. And then peel it down, right back to neutral. And again. And the rest of the body, the head, the neck, the chest, they need to stay relaxed and on the mat. If you feel that they're lifting, you're exceeding what you can control with the legs. So now we're going to add to this. Scoop in. Peel back down, get in our neutral, and then we're going to press both legs straight and on an angle, maintaining that form in the low belly. Pull it in, reverse curl, and press, and curl. Keep the heels squeezed together. I'm going to give you some inner thigh work too, and that help of connecting inner thighs, pelvic floor, deep belly. Zip up the thighs, froggy, reverse curl. And we have 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. And bend the knees, bring them in, and just give yourself a little hug there. Well deserved. Lovely. Lower the legs, and then you're going to come and you're going to bring the mini ball behind your back. So you're going to find a happy place for it. By happy, I just mean a place between the shoulder blades, a little lower than the shoulder blades maybe, where you can still keep your neutral spine, be comfortable on the ball, and then you're going to immediately want to support the hands behind the thighs, or the hands behind the thighs, the hands behind the head. Good. So here is neutral, if I was looking sort of at the ceiling, right? And you're going to breathe in, you're going to melt over the ball into what we call extension, not letting that low back join in the movement. This is sort of mid-back, upper back, neck motion. And on your exhale, curl it up. Keep that tailbone, that pelvis nice and rooted to the mat. And when you're all the way up, you're going to lift the feet to tabletop. You're going to lower it down, and you're going to melt back over the ball. So exhale to curl up. Connect with the low abdominals by bringing the legs up. Lower them down and over the ball. So you have curl up, float the feet, release, and down. Boom. Release, and down. Curl up, knees up, release, and down. Let's do 2 more. Good. Release, and down. And leave this one here. Good. So you've curled up, you've got the legs in tabletop, and you're going to straighten out the left leg. You're going to lower it what you can control, and then you're going to rotate to look at your right. So you're not going to fall off the ball. And you're not going to let the pelvis shift position. There's only a few things to think about. And switch. And you're almost trying to stay light in the ball, right? You're trying to stay lifted and strong. The ball is just there for a little bit of feedback to help you get this motion of curling up in your thoracic spine. Good. Let's make this one our last one. Center it, lower the legs with control, and peel back over the ball. And you can just lay out nice and flat there. You can let the arms go overhead or out to the sides or into a little cactus position. It's just really nice to open in the chest. If it doesn't feel good, you don't need to leave the ball there. You could just lay flat on the mat. Beautiful. But from there, you're going to come up. You can support the head if you need to come up. And you're going to come onto your elbows. You can get rid of the ball. You're going to come onto the elbows from here. So the elbows are under the shoulders and not too wide if possible. Unless if you have a shoulder issue, they need to be wide, you can be. And you're not going to be dropped down here. You're not going to let the breastbone sag between the shoulders and hang on the shoulder joints. You're going to be strong in that upper body. So nice contact in the forearms and the arms. You're going to lift the chest, lift the chest, lift the chest. And with the neck, you're going to find a place where it's happy, right? Maybe you do like to look towards the ceiling a little bit in this. I find that makes me necky. I like to look straight ahead, right? So up to you. Take a nice breath in. Feel that neutral spine. You're going to bring both legs up to tabletop. Okay. We're going to do toe taps here just to get used to the position. Actually, let's do heel taps. So flex the foot, lower one leg, bring it back up, and lower the other. And so it's the same thing. You're drawing in with that deep belly. You're keeping the waist nice and still. No change in the spinal alignment. But now you're also working a little bit in your arms and just a little differently in those abdominals. If you're happy with the singles, let's go to lowering both legs. Woohoo, and pick them back up. Lower both legs and pick them back up. And you're not rocking in the pelvis. The pelvis is staying nice and still. Beautiful. Let's do 3, 2, 1. Perfect. And now you're going to turn. So the knees are looking to my right, the feet are looking to the left, and you're going to lower like that. Pick it back up. So you're targeting the side abdominal muscles a little more, working the hips a little bit in rotation. Try to keep the knees pressed together. Try to keep them facing right. Try to stay lifted in the chest. Oh yeah. And center the legs. Just do 1 in the center. And then switch. Knees are going to look left. Feet are going to look right. Lower and lift. Lower and lift. Non-traditional abs, right? I promised you that. You didn't know what you're signing up for. Good. And if you ever become not comfortable in the upper body, you could lay down and do a variation of this on your back. Good. Center it. And we're going to switch just for 4. So knees to the right, tap, and up. Knees to the left, tap, tap, tap. For 2, for 2, for 1, for 1. Beautiful. And lower both legs with control. And you can melt down to the mat to be on your back. Good. Let's stretch the legs out nice and long. And take the hands behind the head. This is a little bit traditional, I'll say this next part, just in that you're doing a curl up. But, I mean, then we're going to add to it, so it makes it not traditional. So when you're curling up, you're finding a way to be happy in your neck, right? So you're tucking the chin a little bit, you're leaving the head heavy and relaxed in the hands. The pelvis is going to stay in neutral, so low back and pelvis shouldn't move here. Take a breath in to prepare. On your out breath, curling up and release. And just do that part at first. And I'd like you to challenge yourself to come up by feeling like you really tip the low ribs back towards the mat, like sort of tuck them up under the diaphragm to help you get over this point where we always sort of feel we're stuck. To come up that little bit higher, right? But allowing that low back and pelvis to stay still in a beautiful position. Good. Lovely. We're going to hold this one up. Floating our left leg, keeping the pelvis level. Release it down. Float the left leg. And switch. So you're hovered in the head and neck. The chest, you're relaxed in the throat. Now you're just switching legs. The pelvis is staying nice and level. And hopefully you're feeling that in the abdominals, especially after our other work. Make that one your last one like this. And peel it down. Good. Take a nice breath in. Exhale to come up again. Beautiful. And from here, we're going to raise the right leg. And as we do, we're going to turn towards it and lower down. So up, turn towards it, lower it down. Up, turn towards it, lower it down. So you're just adding that little bit of oblique. If you wanted to take this a step further, then you can float up, rotate, and lift that leg higher. So you're in like almost a scissor position with the legs, and lower it down. So I'm going to do 4 more on that side. You can pick which version you like. So you can either just hover the leg and do the rotation in the upper body, or you can add that kick. And lower with control, center yourself all the way down to the mat. So lift upper body and leg, rotation, add the kick if you want, lower, unwind, and release. So we got 2 more. Float, rotate, leg lifts, leg lowers, and even when the leg's lifting, that pelvis, the back of the pelvis is rooted to the mat, right? You don't allow that low back to round, so that's a lot of work in the front of the hip. Beautiful. Lower it down with control, and you have to the other side. So lifting in the chest, floating that left leg, rotate to the left, and add the lift if you want. Lower with control, center, release it down. Curl it up, float the leg, rotation, add the lift, release, and lower. Lift, rotate, kick, lower, center, down, rotation. Pelvis stays rooted to the mat, right? That's a long lever to lift. So make sure you have the form in control. Center, release. 2 more on the side. Does that sound right? Lift, lower, and down. And last one. Curl up, float the leg, rotation, lift, and lower, center, and down. Gorgeous. Stretch out nice and long there. And just feel the length in the abdominals. A little relaxation there, just for a moment. Good. Then you're going to bend the knees. You can roll like a ball to come up to sit if you want. And then we're going to switch to be in a nice plank position. Low plank. Low plank for our abdominals. So if you can have the forearms parallel, great. If you need to put the hands closer together because of some shoulder issues, so that you can do that too. Your idea is that we're going to start on the knees. You have the chest pressed away from the mat, the shoulders down away from the ears, the head in line with the rest of the spine, the low belly drawn in. Curl the toes underneath, and on your exhale, everything stays still except those knees straighten. Lower the knees so they tap the mat, and pick them back up. Try to feel that you reach long out of your heels at the top, and long out of the top of your head. Okay? Good. You're going to hold this one up, and you're just going to tap the right knee and pick it back up, and the left knee and pick it back up. Right? Left. So staying nice and level in the pelvis as you do this. Long in the neck, controlled in the abdominals. Low ribs pulled back. Can we do one more each side? Of course. Tap the right. Tap the left. Beautiful. See if you can lift the hips. And keep those forearms on the mat just to give a little, it's a modified pyramid. And then lower back. Bend the knees. Walk the hands back towards the knees and go back into a beautiful shell stretch. Lower the forehead to the mat. Bring the hands around by the feet. Take a nice breath in. Feel the abdominals expand as you breathe in. And lightly activate as you breathe out. Beautiful. And on your next breath, you're going to roll it up to nice kneeling. And there we go. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Feel good and strong in your abdominals. And I'll see you next time. Thanks.